For more insight into South Korea's shipping sector and its overall economy, we're joined by Sung Won Sohn, Professor of Economics at California State University. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you.
So South Korea's shipping industry is in big trouble. The government has been forced to establish a state-backed ship financing company to prop up the financial health of the Korean shipping companies to the tune of $5.7 billion. Hanjin, South Korea's largest container and shipping company, just went under. Why is the shipping sector sinking?
Well, the global economy is slowing. In addition, there is a lot of excess capacity. Oil is another situation. We know the price of oil has plunged. As a result, the profitability of not only Hanjin, but all the international shipping firms have been suffering in terms of profitability. On top of that, in case of Hanjin, they had a problem with liquidity and, of course, leverage, too much debt. And as a result, they could not survive under the circumstances. There are companies like Maersk, for example, a Danish company, which is not doing as well, but probably they will still be standing. So the industry is in the process of contracting, and Hanjin is one of the casualties.
Well, like you say, the shipping industry has been squeezed on both ends of the supply and demand curve and by global trade, which has been slowing down. So with the anti-globalization sentiment that we're seeing and talk of scrapping trade agreements, does this just spell more trouble for the shipping industry?
Yes, I would think so. If you look at the global trade, it's been either moving sideways or down, and this trend may continue, especially with Mr. Trump's protectionist policies. It's quite possible that there might be some tit-for-tat, which means that trade could be shrinking even further. As a result, I think the shipping companies, they could be in some for additional difficulties in coming years.
You know, Professor, they say when it rains, it pours, and South Korea's economy really under pressure. If you think of Samsung, as we know, is dealing with serious issues after the problems with the Note 7. And keeping in mind that Samsung's electronic mobile devices make up 2% of South Korean exports, revenue from Samsung at large makes up over 20% of GDP. So what impact is this whole Samsung scandal going to have on South Korea's economy?
Well, it is hurting economic growth, as you pointed out. Samsung's revenue accounted for about 20% of the GDP, and that's a pretty substantial sum. And Samsung is having problem not only with the cell phones, but also with washers and other products as well. As a result, Samsung's troubles that will probably depress economic growth. In the third quarter, the economy grew at an annual rate of about 2.7% from a year ago. Chances are, in coming quarters, economic growth will be approaching more like 2% rather than 3%. Not only is Samsung is in obviously some difficulties, but there are other companies, large companies such as the car company Hyundai. They have been experiencing massive strikes and then also some quality issues as well. So when you combine these two major companies, Samsung and Hyundai, you can see why the Korean economy is slowing. And then right now, it is kind of difficult to see when these problems are going to be going away.
To your point, two of the country's biggest industries being hard hit. Now, add to this all of the political trouble. South Korean President Park faces mounting calls to step down over that political scandal. She may be facing impeachment. So how is all of this impacting the economy? How are we seeing this uncertainty translate in the sovereign debt market?
Well, it's it's not good, obviously. The businesses and the economy, they can stand bad news, but not uncertainties. And in Korea, there is a mounting amount of uncertainties, not only from the United States related to the election, but also Korean politics as well. And so when you have all these amounts of uncertainties in the face of a slowing economy, both domestic and foreign, you can see the kind of problems that you have. Korea needs to do something, maybe fiscal monetary policy, maybe the regulations do something to spur, boost economic activities, but that needs a political power and political determination. And under the situation, they really, don't have the agreement to do anything. So, given slowing global and then domestic economy and political uncertainty at home, you can see this is not a very good combination. So many people, including myself, are very worried about the Korean economy.
Well, how worried? What would you say is your outlook for South Korea for the next 6 months?
Well, the Bank of Korea has said that it hoped to see economic growth of 2.9% in 2016. I doubt that would be the case. It's going to be probably closer to 2.5%. As we go into 2017, again, the official government forecast is that it will be around 3%. I think will be closer to 2%. So we will see a deceleration of economic growth in Korea, not an acceleration because of all the problems that we have discussed so far.
Yeah, certainly seems that way. Thank you, as always, Professor Sung Won Sohn, Professor of Economics at California State University.